Howdy. Today I want to tell you about why I think this is the best TIE Phantom in LEGO form. 1, it matches the LEGO X-Wing miniatures model most accurately. 2, it fits 2 figures in tandem and slightly offset. And 3, it has minimal gapping and satisfying greebling. Let's talk about a few of the techniques that I used. Firstly, the way I did the wings is perfectly symmetrical, using plates instead of stacked bricks and joined with plates and hinges around the edge, like some people like to do tie wings. I don't like that technique personally because it's hard to get the perfect geometry between the tips, and it results in slight bending of the pieces. And as I'll go into later, I really don't like anything that results in bending of the pieces or illegal techniques. The 2 halves of the wings are held together in several places, namely at the tip, the top here, and at numerous points internally. There are studs facing outward that clamp the wing together, resulting in something that does not pull apart, it doesn't sag, and it can be handled confidently from the wings. You don't have to worry about the wings bending or flexing too much. You see I'm putting some pressure. Another part of the wings that I'm really proud of is the blaster tip design. I went ahead and leveraged the fact that it's a asymmetrical blaster on the little X-Wing model and used some modified 1x1 plates with the studs on both sides in order to get this clamping at the tips of each of the wings. So I'm really happy with that design. The next area that took the longest to design is the radiator grill area here, which is mirrored symmetrically on each of the 3 sides. I went with using tiles and studs on the side in order to get this to be brick built completely, rather than relying on any specialized pieces like grills or ladders or anything. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It's pretty strong. You can rake your finger across it and they're not going to come apart. And it's pretty easy to build, which is another key aspect that I tried to implement in all facets of this build. One of the concessions we sometimes make with MOCs is that once you build it, it's just going to sit on a shelf and you shouldn't be able to touch it. But I disagree with that philosophy. I believe LEGO is a toy first, and even a adult collector model MOC or official build should be able to be handled without too much fear of stuff falling off. One of my earliest versions of this I handed to my dad, and stuff just started plinging and plocking off. So I said, okay. I took it back and I said, okay, this has to change. So I really tried to make sure everything was held in place. Multiple studs, utilizing bars to go through hollow studs in order to lock everything in. And I think I did a pretty good job. Even bits that you'd think would be fiddly, like these tubes, these are locked in. These aren't going to come off. The blasters are pretty well connected. I'll take one off. You can kind of see it's held in place with a bar and a stud connection. So this thing is really swishable. You hold it from the back. You can hold it in multiple different ways, and you're not going to knock anything off. And you can just swing this around. You can really give it to her, and she'll hold up. I do want to highlight the rear of the ship. I'm really happy with how all the angles, which this ship has a bunch of weird angles. Nothing is sort of on 90 degrees. I'm really happy with how all of these angles came together. There's very little gapping between this hexagon shape and the radiator pods themselves. One area I do want to point out that I'm not completely happy with is the cockpit pod. Like I said earlier, Lego is a toy, and this is one area that is not the most playable. It's a little tricky to get figures in and out. Gonna have to pull this part off. And then you can pop the figures out from here. And finally, I do want to point out that we don't give enough credit to Lego designers, both professional and amateur, for the quality of instructions that you get when you buy a Lego set or when you purchase a good MOC from Rebrickable or Brick Vault. Instructions take almost as much time as designing a model. Determining what steps, in what order, what angles to show, making sure the thing doesn't fall apart as you're building it. Those are all difficult challenges, and I've made many revisions to the instructions, and I feel pretty happy with where it's ended up as far as a enjoyable, well-paced build experience that doesn't rely on too much foreknowledge of Lego to be built. As far as the price goes, if I were to order all the parts from Bricklink today, I'm getting 3 stores for about $130 or about $160 shipped plus tax, and the instructions are $8. So that's the cost that you're looking for if you were to acquire all the parts completely fresh if you don't have any in your own collection. If you've enjoyed this overview of my TIE Phantom and would like to purchase the instructions to build it yourself, I'll have a link in the description where you can do that. Coming up, I'm going to be reviewing Pixel Dan's E-Wing modification, where he turns this official build into this beautiful, sleek E-Wing. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Have a good one.